Yeah. Now we'll do it.
It's Thunderheads with Brandon Soul, Rob Larson, Justin Wright, and the dark and stormy Jason Lewis.
My favorite headline that I saw this week that I have to share with you guys is from The Score. Bucks' Brook Lopez sets an NBA record for most three-pointers without a make.
No.
Fantastic.
Oh, no.
Brook
I thought he was...
Brook Lopez. 0 for 12.
Wasn't he a Splash Brother?
He's 8'4".
People were, like,
Yeah, he
crowning
was,
him a Splash Brother all of
He
a sudden.
was
like,
shooting well at one point.
No, he's shooting well. Like, I mean, he's okay, but this isn't a game. He went 0 for 12. And it's just funny because that wouldn't be the name you would think you'd see. Brook Lopez, 8'4", Brook Lopez.
Yeah.
Shooting threes, doesn't get any rebounds
12 of them.
anymore.
At what point do you, like, 0 for 6? It's like, maybe I don't take any more this game.
There's another
0
person
for
you could tell that
9,
too.
like,
Yeah, I mean, Russ almost hit that mark. 1 for 12 last night. Obviously, we're
Luckily, he got that one, so he's not in the headlines.
Did make that one, and I thought that was it.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to keep it going, but
know.
Yeah,
Normally,
no.
that's when he does, though.
Yeah.
Normally, that is.
That one garbage three, and you're like, okay, yeah, we can come back.
He back.
We're good.
But that's the nature of a Russ 3. It's the no, yes.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, that
sometimes
last
it's
word is
just
a no.
no still.
Yeah. just
Sometimes
always
it's a no.
And then it just getting really angry, and then he reels you back in normally.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to get into this later. That headline, the Brook Lopez headline, narrowly edged out this one from CNN that I also have to read. A Canadian curling team was kicked out of a tournament for being extremely drunk.
Well, aren't you supposed to be extremely drunk when you curl?
also, they're
And what is
Canadian.
it?
Like, are they? I mean, that seems like you already know what's happening there,
Yeah.
right?
Don't let him in the
To
first
be
place.
expected.
Yeah. I mean, but can you claim yourself as a professional at what you do if you show up drunk to do it?
Yeah. Doesn't everybody?
As we're drinking on this
I thought that was how this worked.
But seriously, I mean, I guess that makes sense. But it's curling.
I mean,
Like
there's
it's
been
like
professional athletes in other sports that have talked about, being drunk
True.
going too hard the night before and being drunk.
That's not
So you
necessarily
guys
being drunk, though.
But you guys automatically agree that curling's a sport?
It's a sport.
Yes.
He thinks so. Okay.
It's more of a game. Like, so if there's a Venn diagram of game sports,
Oh, I love Venn diagrams.
Diagrams are the best.
it's in the middle, but it's leaning towards games, I think. But I think it's a sport.
It's still got some sport. I mean, if they say poker's a sport, then
It's more of a sport than poker.
They do curling here in Oklahoma City. Like,
Is that
they
true?
They do things that, like, they have classes and stuff.
Up
that you
at
can,
Arctic Edge.
he's done it.
No,
failed me.
they've got one coming up. So when they open the Devon Ice Rink downtown, they do curling classes. Like I tried to, those things sell out so quickly because you have to pay for the class. They sell
and
out
you
so
get
quickly.
drunk as shit beforehand too.
I wasn't able to go.
Do they
last year.
provide alcohol?
No,
If they're Canadians.
Sounds like part of the team.
no, but I'm pretty
That's the
sure
thing.
there's a vendor pretty close. So you're
Nice.
good.
Perfect.
It's good to have a full squad today. It's been a while.
Oh, it's nice to be
No
back,
Manny.
everyone.
I don't necessarily miss him.
I do a little.
a little, yeah.
Jason,
probably
I just
misses
liked his
us.
quiet confidence, Help me out.
he adds a little something.
I like to think he's here in spirit.
Yeah, he definitely. Jason, you're looking freshly groomed.
Thanks, man. Went
awesome.
over to Scissors and Scotch today. Didn't have a drink for the first time.
No way.
in being there. Well, it was like 11:30, so
So
I probably still should have.
so.
But I don't know.
Sunday.
Just had a water.
A little
It was
mimosa or
nice.
something. All right, that seems against their code.
Yeah, I think I might get kicked out of
It
whatever
seems
club it
like-
is.
Interesting week from the Thunder this week. I'm excited to get you guys' thoughts because they were kind of all over the place. 3-2 since. Are they 3-2 since you guys last Thursday? I think that's right.
Is that correct,
Yeah.
Bobby?
Yeah, they played 5 games.
5 games, so I think they're 3-2.
Hey, Brandon, before you go,
Okay,
I'm gonna stop you there.
Okay.
Is it true that you lost basketballs last?
Lost basketballs last month. Yes, that is true.
So I won last month. Not winning now, but last month I did.
Okay.
You are a father now, right?
I'm a father.
That's correct?
Yes.
So got you a little Thanksgiving dinner here in baby food. It's turkey and sweet
Oh,
potatoes.
turkey?
Turkey and sweet potatoes.
Okay.
Here.
So this is my punishment.
Yeah, you
for
got
losing it?
to eat this little box of
Okay, so
Baby
do I have to eat it right? I can just eat it throughout the course of the
Yeah,
podcast.
Eat it
that's why
throughout.
I'm doing it now.
But
so
it feels
that
like you should at least try it right now.
Okay, I'll try it right now.
I don't know how to open that thing. It looks.
It looks
okay.
like an applesauce.
You have to
ever
be
had
a-
applesauce.
You have to be a dad.
You have to be a dad to open it. Yeah, that's why I didn't even try it before.
So really, we need a full flavor profile here.
Oh my God, it
just
looks
go
like mustard.
through, go through, and just give us the flavors, some notes,
Okay.
You do love mustard.
tasting notes, if you will.
I hope it tastes like mustard.
my
Also,
God,
it was
it
a
looks so
2-pack, so I
thick.
got one for your actual kid too. So that's pretty cool.
That'll be good.
Oh wow!
I'm
I
a
just
good guy.
tasted the little bit that got on my finger, and
Not a fan.
yeah. So for those that just listen to the audio, it's an orange. It looks like mustard, right?
It's pretty gross looking. Yeah.
Mustard mixed with cheese, maybe.
It's not good. It's definitely not good.
I'm so sorry.
All right, let me get a full spoonful here.
Oh, I'm gonna throw up. I think I might. Oh God.
No, can't watch. Oh, how do you do that? You just went for it?
Oh, is it?
No.
He's not a fan.
Describe it in great
It's
detail.
not good.
This is literally the only food thing I think I could have gotten you on.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it's real dry.
Well, so it's
Did you
because
say
it's Thanksgiving
sweet?
turkey.
Did you say
it has
sweet
to be.
It's
potatoes?
like turkey sweet potato
It
or something.
definitely tastes the sweet potato.
So it's mostly sweet potato.
Man, yeah, it's not good. I have always wondered about baby food though, and I've never tried it.
No.
Not good.
Now you have.
I feel like you've had it. You don't remember.
I'll eat this through the. This is a big ass baby food.
Yeah, it's
canister,
larger
too.
than it should be.
You didn't give me one of those tiny Gerber canisters. Jesus.
I don't think I can watch you do this.
Rob's having a hard
Rob's having a
time.
real hard
Throw
time.
up.
I have-
I'm gonna throw up.
Just don't look at him. Look at me. You look at me.
It pairs so well with my wine. sitting there.
I thought about that beforehand. You know, I saw you pick out your wine, and I was like, yeah, turkey goes great with it.
It's not good.
I'm so sorry.
It's so not good.
Gotta eat all of it.
All right, back at a good show today.
Yeah.
Tons of Russ talk. Got to talk Burton, man. Guy's been playing pretty well. Grant shooting. Patterson's non-shooting. Got to get into that. And we'll do a little role-playing featuring Billy Donovan and Sam Presti.
It's my favorite.
I do want to welcome in the crowd from Twitch, Periscope, and YouTube Live. We're psyched to have you with us, and hopefully you are watching on there. We are live, as you can see, from Opolis Clothing in Midtown OKC. They also have a store down in Norman. Check them out, man. You can see the shirts right here. These are some of the featured ones right now, but they have so many more than just these. So check them out at in-store or opolisclothing.com.
Got shirts, hats, OU, OSU stuff.
Christmas tree right behind Rob.
Yeah. You can't see it, but it's there.
Yeah,
It's
they said-
nice.
Sometimes you got to believe in things you can't see. you know?
Or hell, you know what? If you're from out of state, like outside of the Thunder stuff, like obviously OU, OSU, that's not up your alley, but they've just got some normal Oklahoma stuff.
Yeah.
Which is cool too.
It's pretty sweet.
I'm sorry
Oh,
if
no, it looks-
if I
your
zone out
face.
here. It's real bad.
Oh,
It's so bad.
that was
Be
a
sure
good,
to-
that was a good team effort by us,
Yeah,
by
we,
the way.
we,
High
we
five.
did good.
I had no idea what was going on, so I'm proud of
That's
you
why
guys.
we have the second one. You got to
Yeah.
eat it too.
Oh, no.
Oh, that'd be good.
Be sure to
I'm
subscribe.
bleeding.
Be sure to subscribe to the show everywhere you can. Rate, review, hit that thumbs up button on the YouTube. If you do enjoy the show, it really does help out a lot. You can get in touch with the show at OKC Thunderheads on Twitter and Instagram. And you can support the show by clicking the link in that description right below. Every dollar you contribute is reinvested right back in the show. So thanks ahead of time if you do that. It's very much appreciated.
Doo-doo.
I did say doo-doo. All right, what we got, boys? Thunder lose at Denver in a terrible, terrible game. From the start, kind of made it close, pulled within 5 at one point in the fourth quarter. And this is on the second night of a back-to-back for both teams, where the Thunder handled business against the Hornets on Friday night. It's kind of an unexpected game, but I kind of want to talk about everything as a whole here. I don't want to focus on that Denver game too much, because I don't think that's, in my opinion, I don't think it's too indicative of who this Thunder team really is.
Right.
So, Rob, I'll just start with you. I mean, what's your biggest takeaway from this week as a whole? The Thunder go 3-2 with wins against the Suns, Hornets, and the Warriors, which was a big-time win. The Warriors were searching for a win. They really needed one. Thunder picked up a big one on the road there. Then you drop one to the Nuggets, which would have been a really nice win. That would have been a really good win. And then you drop another one to the Kings again. So how do you feel about this team right now?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway for me was that injuries still having an impact, regardless of Robertson still not coming back. But you look at like Russ, who's having to figure out his role within.
I'm sorry. I'm
watching
sorry. I
you eat
ruined
this
your
is-
point, but I can't not laugh when I'm looking at him eat that.
He's about halfway done.
I'm impressed that you're really just
Yeah.
trudging through this thing.
It's the name of the game, baby. Keep going.
All right, so I guess to me it's still injuries. Like that's still the story of this season, and part of that was Russ coming back and trying to figure out. Many articles that were written about Russ's new role or what he's trying to do this year, how he's trying to be a little bit different. And so I think that's still what it comes down to, is especially in that Nuggets game where you saw he struggled. Like I think it's still. At times, it's probably going to look pretty good where he's trying to set guys up and he's trying to get guys involved. And at times, it's not going to be as good because this team isn't a really good shooting team. Mm-hmm. And so it's going to be a little rough. He still has to find that balance where he knows when to sort of take over and hopefully when to not shoot a bunch of threes. And so I don't know. That's sort of my takeaway from this week is I kind of.
It's you don't know.
I kind of think that the story is still injuries, like it's going to be until hopefully this team can get completely healthy.
So do you think like the Russ, like all the stories about him kind of trying to, like the Thunder trying to get him to take a little bit of a back seat to the team? Yeah. Do you think that's hard for him because of the year after KD left, how he was like, or the 2 years where he's just been like absolute focal point? Like, do you think it's really difficult from those habits? Like,
so my thing on that is it was really hard for him, especially that whenever they had to get things figured out with Paul George and Carmelo. Like whenever you add those guys in, like I feel like you give him that leeway where he just had to do something incredible. Like something that was so hard to do to get that team to the playoffs, playing the style that he had to do. Like, it's hard for him then to say, well, now you just have to play completely different. Like, integrate these guys, play completely different. You don't have to be that anymore. Turn that off. It's just not that easy. And
so it has to be hard. Like, if you are able to do that and you're like, every possession, I know that I can destroy these people.
Sure.
And I've done it. Like, it has to be hard to just be like, okay,
well, I think
let that new guy do it.
I kind of think what you were saying, too, is do you think that the habits that were instilled in him during that MVP season are – something that is hard that you still see showing its face here and there, right?
Yeah,
from game to game. Probably. I mean, that's just human nature.
Well, we saw shades of him even when Kevin Durant was still here. Like you saw those.
Yep. That's who he is.
Yeah, it really is.
There's always been the good Russ, bad Russ thing.
Yeah, and look, I harp on this all the time. You have to take the good Russ with the bad Russ, and it's not just look. Last night was bad Russ. You live with that because of what he can do when he's good Russ. When he's good Russ, no one can replicate that at all in this NBA, and that's the guy that takes you to the playoffs. When you have no earthly business making the playoffs, you had an incredible season. That's what he did when he won the MVP. So you've got these things that he can do that are just outlandish. You have to live with the bad Russ. And like I said, last night against the Nuggets, that was bad Russ.
Yeah, and he was sensational against the Hornets the night before. You know, and so it's just one of those things. When the team, he has so much belief in himself that when the team is so far behind, he feels like he can be that guy to bring them back. And it's hard to knock that. It's nice having a guy that has that kind of belief in himself. But here's the difference in kind of going back what you were just saying, Rob, about how he had to play a certain way last year with Carmelo and Paul George to drag this team to the playoffs. Remember how he started the year last year? He was trying too hard to integrate them. And then he finally said, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to be me. And he did that, and he was awesome. He was awesome. He was awesome from that point forward. He can't be that. He has to be somewhere in between those two guys now, right?
He has to find like a gray area, which is not really a Russ style, I feel like.
Right, and now you have a guy, Dennis Schroder, on this team that is legitimately a really good player. And not just a really good player, but a really good point guard. Yeah. And a guy that's capable of outplaying Russ in this offense at times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are times you've seen it.
At times, he can be the better option as far as leading the offense, and that's why you're seeing Russ move off the ball some, because Russ can still be effective off the ball. So that's where, when you watch a game like last night, and Russ jacking up all those threes, it's hurting this team even more than it has in the past. When he does that, in my mind.
When I think a thing with the threes last night, God, I can't watch you do that. The threes last night, when you have caught up to the team, like, because what you were saying a second ago is like, yeah, if you're so far behind and you're jacking them up, like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But once you've caught up and you're there, stop it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, there was so many that he just took when it's like you could have gotten. There was 17 seconds left on the clock. Classic bad Russ, but still, like, in that situation, like, that's where I want him to have a bit better like feel for the context of the situation. You know what I mean?
Well, and there was 5 in the fourth quarter, and like that was the biggest. It, I don't know. It's weird because we're just so like he did a few seasons ago where it was all on Russ. And so now it's like, well, whenever he's shooting like that, whenever this team is trying to make a comeback and he's taking terrible threes, he's blowing possessions. You don't really there were times where he's shooting so early in the shot clock, or he's not really doing anything in rhythm, and it's hard to get in rhythm when you're not hitting any shots, but whenever you're taking bad shots, it makes it even worse. And so I think that it just what we talked about last night in our chat is how it felt like Russ was just a little bit in the way of what they were trying to do last night. And that's completely opposite of how you would expect it to be at all. Like, there's no way. That sentence doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't
No.
make sense that Russ would be in the way. But they were making a comeback, and it felt like whenever Russ, especially in that fourth quarter, would take a three, it was a bad three.
Yeah, it just kill all the momentum. But how much is the fact that Russ can even get in the way? Is that a good thing this year, in a way? In a way, like, can you twist that in a positive way and say, wow, this team actually has so much talent on it that Russ can actually get in the way if he starts to do that, like he could back in those teams
that's something we haven't been able to say for a long time, right?
Right, because sometimes, in the past couple of years, you're like, well, we kind of need Russ to do that. We kind of need Russ to make some of these shots, where last night you're like, hey, Russ, we didn't need you to do that.
Right.
Talent's one of those weird words, because this isn't just by far the most talented team out there in the league right now. But the cohesiveness of this team is what makes it really special.
Too, yeah.
Exactly. They're constructed in such a way that I don't think we even realized during the offseason could be really, really successful, especially shooting the ball. We all knew that was going to be an issue with this team, and it still is, but they found ways to be successful on the offense. So you've got this cohesiveness, and Russ kind of throws a wrench in that cohesiveness sometimes, and otherwise he accentuates it. Yeah. So it's just finding ways to accentuate this great unit that they have built to do the right things and play basketball the right way to their strengths, and that's how they're going to beat people. But Russ tends to, when he gets into a game like last night,
it's a bit of a wild card.
He forces the issue too much and kind of screws what the team is doing as a whole.
But how much of a pass does Russ get? I mean, the dude.
All of it.
So and not just because he's Russell Westbrook. That's not even what I mean. I mean because the guy came off of knee surgery this summer, which isn't. I mean, it's happened. It's happened before, and that's something like if it was just that. If it was just that, then I'd have a hard time giving him a pass for a game like this, and the game like he played against the Kings a little bit where he was trigger happy. Although his game against the Kings makes last night's game look. This game against the Kings, last night's game makes his game against the Kings look really good.
Yeah.
Anyways, but not only is the knee surgery in the offseason going in missing the first couple games of the season, then he sprains his ankle. Right. I mean, he's had a tough time getting his rhythm, and then you see his ankle get caught under Millsap at one point last night, and he kind of hobbled a little bit. Not only that, but then you kind of piece that together and you think about, man, are we seeing that burst out of Russell Westbrook that we're used to seeing? Are we seeing those plays? Well, those 3-4 plays a game where we're like, whoa, that's Russ. That's what makes Westbrook Westbrook. We're not seeing those right now.
Right, and even last night there was, I think the guy's name was like Craig, like caught up with him and just blocked his shot behind him, and like that has to feel weird for him. I don't feel like that's a thing for his athleticism and everything.
He doesn't look like he wants to dunk the ball.
It's almost like he's not quite there yet.
Yeah,
the dunking thing, that huge steal, wide open steal against Golden State, and Russ lays it up. When have you seen Russ lay it up in the open floor like that?
That's a good point.
That was really weird to watch.
You almost saw him when he took off. He was getting ready to go throw down a dunk, but then he thought about it after a couple dribbles. Like, wait, no, I'm not ready to do that yet.
Which and there's like a guy trailing behind him too. So
that could also be a function of you don't want to try and give anti-fuel to the fire that is Oracle Arena, but at the same time, like, no, go hammer one down and laugh at all those guys. Like, you want to set the tone when you're playing an Oracle.
Yeah, I think it's especially frustrating for him too. Like, if you just think about it from Russ's perspective, and he totally has the ability to affect the game positively, even when he doesn't have that burst. I think because he is good at getting to spots and making plays for others. But guy, you're seeing that rust. You're seeing that where it makes it a lot harder on himself when he doesn't have that burst that we're so used to seeing. And I think that's why you see when he goes 1 for 12, he's like, well, maybe I can shoot the ball. Maybe I can make some shots for this team because I can't really do what I'm used to doing. Maybe I'm going down a long hypothetical road here, but if this is all true, what we're saying, and he's not 100% healthy, maybe he's sitting here saying, I can help this team in other ways by maybe I can shoot the ball a little bit and make some shots. Well, he's not making shots. You see him stay after the game last night in full uniform, doesn't even hit the showers, and does the shooting session after the game, and that's what you love about Russ, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the guy that we all love, and that's like why I think we all love him, is that like regardless of what happened, that like he's just gonna work so hard that that's not gonna happen again, hopefully.
So after, whenever the media talked to him, they asked why, or what's going on with that, and he said he didn't want to talk about it. That was his answer, was he didn't want to talk about
his
that.
shot selection.
So I wonder, like, is there something there? Like, does he not want to blame it on injury? Does he not want to blame it on something else? Does he just want to make it better by starting to make shots? That, to me, that was like something that was really interesting. It's like, why not? Why not just? And I know it's Russ, and he doesn't want to be there and do that anyways. But still, it's like, well, what? It leaves. I mean, it leaves questions. Like, why do you?
I don't think he's a guy that ever wants to put an excuse on an injury for himself.
He's definitely not that guy.
He wouldn't do. And if that's like what's happening, maybe he doesn't feel 100% on his leg or whatever. Like, I could see him being like, I just don't want to talk about it. Like, instead of trying to say, hey, my ankles, I'm still working back. Like, he's not going to say that. I don't think I would ever see him.
And maybe he really, like, if you just pay attention to his actions and the fact that he did go have that shooting session after the game, maybe he really took it hard last night. Maybe he was, like, seriously thinking, man, this one really is on me.
Yeah.
There's been a couple losses this season that are on me, and I got to figure this out because, no, Russ is not a good three-point shooter, but he's so much worse this season than he's ever been.
Yeah,
I mean, he's shooting 17% from three. Like, we're 11 games in.
It's bad.
So I've got a question for you guys. He has that shooting session after the game. Is that encouraging from a standpoint of Russ sees that he needs to be better, and that's a great thing, or is it a little bit discouraging because you see Russ is going out there trying to improve his shot because he thinks it's something that is necessary for this offense?
I would go with the encouraging parts myself. Like, I just think that the fact that he's self-aware enough to be like, wow, that, like, to me, I think of what you were kind of just saying. Like, that was really on me. Like, that loss was on me because I totally shouldn't have taken those.
And he sees himself as the leader of this team.
And he is. Yeah. Like, that is who he is. So.
Is there any concern on the other side, though? Is there a concern that by Russ going out there that he thinks he needs to be shooting?
There's
more?
Absolute concern, but at the same time, it's like he's got to pay attention. He's got to watch film also because clearly you're not a good shooter. Yeah. Look at your free throws the last 2 years, too. Like, what's going on there? Like, something is off with this guy's shot, this guy's jump shot. But at the same time, you see his field goal percentage around the rim this year, and it's great. It's one of the best in the entire league. And his field goal percentage going into last night, I don't know what it is now. I don't have it in front of me. But going into last night was a career high. I know it was only 10 games in for him, but it was a career high by a wide margin in those 10 games. So we've talked about on this podcast how he has done such a good job of getting to the rim and staying with his strengths and not settling for those threes. These last few nights, it's like, oh, well, he's starting to fire him up again. But how many times in Russell Westbrook's past have we seen where he's gone out there and shot 10 threes? And we're like, and then he goes on a 5-game stretch where he takes one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and that's like the number. I know that you had tweeted it out, their record. Whenever he does that was
7-27.
Yeah.
A couple of seasons ago, that was what we were watching. Like, that was something that you could almost tell. Like, they're going to lose those games whenever he does that. And he's up to 45.9% field goal percentage on the season.
He's 49.9? 45.9.
45.9.
So it came down about 3 points last night.
So, but that's part of what's frustrating about it too, though. Is like, it's great that you want to stay after and you're taking it upon yourself to go and shoot, and maybe other guys that are struggling on this team could use the same thing. Maybe that leads them to doing that as well. But it's also
Patrick.
Like, whenever you're struggling so much, it's like, do something else in this game, in the Nuggets game. It's like, do something else.
Right.
Yeah, it's like Russ is totally not that guy, though. He's not a do something else guy. He's a guy that
I'm gonna keep doing it.
Wants to shoot himself out. He wants to, like, if he turns the ball over 2 straight times, he's gonna drive the lane again and try to make another
Sham
play
got it.
and try to make up for what he just for the mistake he just made.
Right.
But it goes back to the Royce Young article that he wrote the other night and how Russ has done a good job of not doing those things this year and how, he had a couple turnovers late in the Charlotte game where then the very next possession, he let Schroder take control of the offense, and that's something we haven't seen in the past. Mm-hmm. So I guess when you look at it big picture like that, you have to say it's a learning curve for Russ. This is a huge learning curve for Russ.
Big change.
And there's a lot of basketball players out there, a lot of really great basketball players that it wouldn't be as tough to adjust.
Right.
But for Russell Westbrook, in the way he plays, the way he's always been, it's hard, man. Like this, right? That's fair. And yeah, it's a flaw of his, but I think it's a really good sign that he's trying. I think that he's not going to give up. He's not the type that's going to give up, man. You see it last night. He goes out for the shooting session. So with that being said, I mean, you still trust this guy going forward, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Absolutely.
He is the face of this franchise, if not the face of the city and the face of this state right now. You put all your trust in Russell Westbrook because he's given it to you. You give it straight back to him. Yeah. So you live and die by Russ. And the thing is, if I've seen anything over the past several years without Kevin Durant, is that Russell Westbrook, maybe it takes him a little bit more time than we'd like to as fans. He will figure it out. He will find a way to make this team successful. And I think he's going to do it with probably the most talent and the best constructed roster that he's had over the last several seasons since Kevin Durant left. It's going to turn around. It's going to be fine. And Russ will be a huge part of the success of this team going forward.
I mean, turn around. They win last night. They had first by themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's like
turnaround's a weird thing.
It's
to say.
tough.
They've won 12 out of 14, so
he's
it's
also that was only his 11th game, and it's like that's also part of it is trying to figure out like it's whenever this team is playing well, a lot of the times, I mean, without him, that's weird for him, right? Like he's not used to that. No, I have to be on the court for this team to have success, and it's just different. So I agree. There's like growing pains. There's some figuring out of his role. Because it's different, and there's not as much required of him.
And I think overall, big picture, that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's like if you're talking about Oklahoma City Thunder as a franchise, as a team, this is a good thing. Like, not Russ shooting 12 threes, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
But a good thing is that the fact that he knows.
It works without him.
It works without him. It can have success without him. Now, here's where I think you could run into some problems. And maybe I'm off base here. Maybe you guys will disagree with me. But if Russ were to kind of run off a string of these bad games and he just, maybe he plays 2 good ones, 2 bad ones, 2 good ones, 2 bad ones, and Schroder just continues to be consistent and play well. We saw what happened in Atlanta with Schroder. Like, he wanted to start there before Jeff Teague left town, and then he ends up starting, and he wants to win. What if we get to a point where Schroeder feels like he's the better player? He's the better option, yet he's still coming off the bench, and then you cause a little locker room rift there. Hopefully that it doesn't get to that, but is that a possibility here? Is that like kind of a wrinkle?
I really don't think so, just because of the way that it seems that Schroeder admires Russell Westbrook because of the pedestal that he has him on. Like seems like his favorite player. Like he said that a couple times before he even got traded here. Like just because of all of that, like I feel like he feels secondary to him, and that he knows that it's his and Paul's team. Firstly, Russ's team.
With Schroeder, like to your point, Jason, I feel like Schroeder looks at Russell Westbrook and is like, I play the game the way I play the game because of Russell Westbrook.
Exactly.
So you're automatically going to be predispositioned to be like, why would I ever start over the guy that I want to be?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not necessarily that he feels like he should start, but I don't ever want it to get to a point where he feels like he gives the team a better chance to win. Like, he doesn't understand the overall, because you see what Russ can do. Like when that fourth quarter against the Warriors, man, you guys aftershocked about it. Russ was incredible. Russ was so good at managing that game, and he wasn't even scoring the ball. Yep. Like he was just making the simple pass, like a couple of Paul George threes that were just like backbreakers for the Warriors. And then it goes 10 for 18, takes 18 shots in the Hornets game, 10 for 18, triple-double, first triple-double of the year, I think, that night. 30, 12, and 12. Had an incredible game, and it was kind of quiet. Like, he wasn't like some loud, crazy Russ game. And it's been weird when you look at these Russell Westbrook games this year. It's different. It's not – they don't jump off at you. You can't just say, oh, Russ was good tonight, Russ was bad tonight.
There's been kind of a mix.
It's different.
Yeah.
Like, you have to evaluate him different this year in a weird way.
Yeah, it's strange.
If that makes sense.
And Rob, like, I think we talked about this at one point of, when the team was kind of rolling, we were talking about, once Russ comes back, is he just going to slide back in and everything work like all hunky-dory or whatever? But
Is that what you guys said?
yeah, hunky-dory.
I never used that term. Just for the
Actually, I
record.
got it from you. Yeah,
No.
you said hunky-dory, and I was like, wow, that's a dad thing
Is
to
that
say.
a hyphenated thing?
Just one
One word?
One word or space. I don't know.
Okay.
But it turns out that we were a little wrong in that because I thought he would just kind of slide in there and everything would be fine because he played, like, before he went down with the ankle, he was playing the way this team was playing, right?
And that's why I think you
Yeah.
can go back to that ankle, though.
yeah.
Like,
And
I'm
then
honestly inclined to. You can't blame 12 3-point attempts on an ankle.
No, his ankle was twitching, and he's like, fucking shoot.
Could be something like that, I guess. Could be some anomaly like that. But yeah, you can't blame 12 3-point attempts on the ankle, but I can blame him not being able. If he can't get to the rim like he's used to getting to the rim, he's going to settle for jumpers. And I feel like that might be what's going on here with Russ.
So, did you have a point?
Yeah,
He
go ahead.
did. He was firing
Well,
it up.
Go ahead.
T-Troop from YouTube said, what if this isn't Russ being out of shape, but him actually declining? Which,
That's something that's worth talking
that's like
about.
a far out there point a little bit, because I don't want to, like, blow this whole thing up. As I said,
I think before I'm ready to say that Russ is declining and on the decline, I think you have to give him due credit.
Yeah.
And that due credit comes with saying, hey, man, he just came off a pretty gruesome ankle injury.
and they've won 12 of 14.
And they won 12 of 14. And
Some of them with him in it.
Look at the way he played Friday. He played awesome Friday.
Yeah.
Like, and that was without that burst. Like,
Yeah, or the Warriors game.
I trust Russell Westbrook to be a smart enough player to make plays without having that extreme athleticism advantage over whoever he plays.
Yeah.
He just has to do it on a more consistent basis if he's not going to have that, if that decline is coming. So even if that decline is coming as far as athleticism goes, I still think he's such a great player that he's a total plus for this team.
And one thing that you mentioned earlier, Rob, was it wasn't only his terrible threes last night. It was his not boxing guys out. It was his not
defense.
like he was just
His focus wasn't there.
not paying attention to stuff. Like there was a couple times he guarded Millsap and just would kind of just lackadaisically walk away, and then Millsap was just under the rim, like,
Yeah.
man, I'm wide open.
And
if
maybe
anybody wants to pass
maybe
to
it was
me.
one of those games. Maybe it was just one of those games like he was frustrated with himself because he couldn't make his shot, and that affected his focus on the other end and the little things in the game that normally he's so just kind of dead set on doing. And it was just one of those nights for him.
It was tired, Russ.
Yeah,
That looked like
he did look
what
tired.
truly fatigued. Just had two twins.
Don't
like,
forget about
Played
that.
the night before.
Playing the night
Played a great
before,
night.
like,
Played a great game. the
He's
night
only
before.
been
That-
eating turkey and sweet potato baby food for the last 2 days.
Then you see him with his shirt off, and you're like, no, he wasn't.
yeah, he's fine.
that
The dude
looked
was
like
eating chicken breast and broccoli every night of his life.
super fatigued Russ, and I can live with that if it's a one night thing. If it becomes a trend, that's where we get concerned. But I'm not convinced that that's going to become a trend.
So there was something I noticed last night too, is Steven Adams couldn't do things that he normally could do. He was 6 of 15.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's frustrating for Russell? Like his normal little dump offs to Steven weren't going in. Like
Yeah.
they would just bounce off and not go. Like I think the whole team felt like it just seemed like nothing they did would work.
It was one of
It
those
was
nights.
frustrating,
It was
yeah.
but okay, so does that make the loss a not so terrible one? The fact that could they play worse? I don't know that team. The Thunder
Maybe
could
like
play
a
worse.
little worse.
I don't know that they could. I
it'd
honestly
be
don't
hard.
know that they can play worse than that. And they at one point brought that game back to 5.
Yeah.
And that's
That the third quarter where they brought that thing all the way back was kind of astounding.
Mm-hmm.
Like where they really got back in it. I was just like, I didn't think this was going to happen.
It's
it just looked-
disappointing because Jokic didn't play well at all.
Yeah.
But Plumlee was the best player on the planet last night, and Juancho Hernan Gomez
wasn't
most people don't even know who that is, and he was just killing it. I mean, and PG,
Trey Lyles was 6 for 6. He was 100%.
right? So
The hell?
they just had guys step up. The Thunder didn't at all have guys step up, and the Thunder had a chance to actually make something of that game in the end. I never truly felt like they were going to win that game, but to me, that's encouraging. I mean, this team, it's one of those things. They just kind of kept fighting, even though they had nothing.
And
They
the Nuggets
had
are
nothing.
really good.
Nuggets are good. It's a good point.
I think that it's.
But back to your Adams point, if I don't know if that's where.
I don't know that I feel. I was going to talk about the loss. Like I don't know that I feel.
Screw your point.
It didn't make me feel. No, but I do. I will get on that. I don't know that it made me feel any better. Like the loss. I don't know. It's just whenever you play that bad in the first half, I don't know what you can expect.
Right.
So you're building. You're climbing out of that the entire time, and at some point you lose. It's just hard to just keep that going the entire second half because you've dug such a big hole that even whenever you get it within 8, within 5, you can have that thing where the other team just completely collapses. But then it's also like we've exerted so much energy. We've done so much just to get to this point, and it can fall apart so easily, and that's what we saw. But to the Adams point, like in that first half, he was bad. He was really bad.
Worst game of the year.
Like, I can't, not even just the 0 for 6 on easy shots. Like, it was bad defense.
Like, Plumlee looked like a
taking
badass.
advantage of
You
him.
didn't see him get in good position on offensive rebounds like you're used to. You're used to seeing Adams drawing like a good 2 to 3 to maybe 4 sometimes fouls on the boards where he just kind of, whether he sells it or whether he gets guys in positions that frustrate them. I think he got one of those last night, and it was in the second half when he finally started to get it together.
Yeah, he only took one free throw and missed it.
But to your point, Jason, about how it affects Russell, I think it affects him greatly. And I think that's why Adams is so important to this team, because Adams is the guy that makes up for the flaws that Russell Westbrook has. He's the guy that cleans up after Russell Westbrook's bad shots, after his misses. He's the guy that catches crazy Russell Westbrook passes and makes him look awesome. Not that Russell Westbrook doesn't do a good job getting there, but they're just a great duo.
He's that guy on offense, and then Dre's his guy that cleans up for him on defense.
Right, so it's really hard for this team to succeed when Adams plays that poorly.
Yeah.
Well, just not only with Russ being bad, but just in general, this team that can't shoot. When you have Steven Adams who can clean up every single miscue that you have as a bad shooting team on the offensive end because of his offensive rebounding ability, that's huge. When he plays that game, and I think he was tired. He looked tired. He looked
Speaking
just
of fatigued Russ, fatigued Adams.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was one of those slug games that you have on a second night of a back-to-back against a good team. Neither team looked the Denver Nuggets are good, and they play at a fast pace. Same with the Thunder. Neither team looked really that into it. It's so early in the season. You don't have your legs quite under you
They were both
yet.
on a back-to-back, like you said earlier.
Both on it, yeah. It looked like one of those sluggish games. You're just like, it is what it is. It happens in the NBA.
And I mean, the end of that Hornets game didn't help them out any. That it got close at the
and
end.
the Nuggets blew out the Magic the night before.
So they didn't have to worry about it. And then, the Thunder definitely had to play hard at the end of that game.
And for Adams, it didn't help the fact that Nerlens Noel had one of his worst games of the year. He only was able to play 11 minutes because Plumlee was destroying Nerlens Noel last night.
Yeah.
So, if Noel comes in and plays well, then maybe you can sit Adams a few extra minutes and you can keep Noel in there. It just wasn't happening last night. I wanted to ask this at the top, but we got into some good stuff, so it's good to wait until now. How good of a feel do you have for this team? I mean, it's been weird, right? You start 0-4. Now you've won 12 of 14. Right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep. 12 of 14.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have it right here.
What's the record?
12 and 14.
13 and 6? 13 and 7?
I was just saying.
They're
They are
13
12 and 7.
12 and 7.
12 and
that's
7.
right.
That's what I was going to say.
So where's
but
that
you
other
guys said
loss?
it
So they've
first.
won 12 of 14.
They've
They
won
started
12 of
0-4.
15.
12 of 15.
Well, motherfucker.
The Nuggets game was the 15. That was your 15th data point.
There it
Okay.
is. That's my bad.
Yeah.
Whatever. Still a good percentage. Do you have a good feel for this team? Do you, as far as how good they are? How good is this team?
I think defensively, I think we have a great idea of where this team is.
First?
Offensively, I have absolutely no clue right now because
17th right now after last night.
They're a team that could go out and score 140, and then the next time they're out there on great rest, they could go score 89. I have no idea what kind of offense I'm going to get from this team on a day-to-day basis. The great thing is, though, that defense is sustainable. It's something that translates to the playoffs. So I like where the defense is at because I think they'll play that way the entire season, and they can only figure out the offense and get it more sustainable and more consistent on a night-to-night basis. So I think we know exactly what this team's going to be. And I think that 0-4, you toss that out. And I think what we've seen, they're not going 12-3. throughout
Right.
every 15-game stretch throughout the season. But I think they're going to be something close to that.
It's hard for me to toss out.
Good.
It's hard for me to toss out the 0-4 because we've seen glimpses of that. Like last night, that was a glimpse into that 0-4 start, right?
Fair.
Yeah, had we played that game on that 5th game, 0-5.
Yeah, that's right.
So we went 0-4. Losing last night would have made us 0-5.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
We're making
exactly.
last night's game.
I
as
put
the-
it earlier.
moved it,
That's what I did.
and now we're 12-14,
Slid
baby.
it right down there.
Now we're back to 12-14.
Oh no.
No, the 12. We've won 12-14.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, you
That's
were
what you
misreading me
What's
there.
happening?
So the Thunder are down to 17th in offense. They're last in true shooting percentage. Free throw percentage not helping everything. 3-point percentage is bad. That's where the worry is here for me. And then you talk about Abrines and Patterson. Abrines just come back. He was the sickest person alive for a few weeks.
Had AIDS and cancer combined. WebMD said it.
Here, I have something.
You have the
Say
doctor's
a lot of
notes?
things.
What you got over there?
So Abrines is shooting 31.9% from 3 on the year. Hasn't made a 3 since November 12th, which is 2 weeks ago. Didn't play in 3 of the 7 games, obviously.
Hey.
Patterson, 31% on the year. Hasn't made a 3 since November 17th. He's 0 for his last 13 from 3 and 0 for his listen closely. He's 0 for his last 18 overall.
Also-
He hasn't made any of his last 18 shots. Patrick Patterson. No, just sit there for a second. Just let that sink in.
Ouch.
Right?
It's really bad.
These are supposed to be 2 of your best shooters on the team, like 2 of your best 4 knockdown guys, right?
So Patrick Patterson has he's really bad.
Oh my god.
He's not making anything.
Oh, I mean, you're
Like
not wrong.
in 10 games.
In team games.
Teen games.
This is Jason trying to read, by the way.
he's
The E. It is an E.
he's made
Teen.
1 or less shots from 3. Like
Fewer.
it's yeah. Bad. bad.
Way to really drive your point home.
He's like someone has to do something about him.
No,
Like don't let him
What
play.
does that
Don't let
mean?
him play.
I'm sick of telling you guys every single game that he sucks. Like at this point, it's become a joke where I'm just kind of, oh my god, guys, Patterson sucks. But it's not. Like he sucks right now. Like the guy sucks, and he's not. he's. It would be one thing if he could make some shots. Then he might only suck a little. Like at least you can make some shots.
Well, that's what it was early on in the season.
Yeah, it was like, oh, he hit
He was shooting above 40% for a little while.
because then you're
like a minute.
Then you're providing this team with something it desperately needs. Right now, you're not making any shots, and you're not doing anything else on the court. Every once in a while, he played
Like
decent defense on Durant in that Warriors game for a couple of possessions.
He'll set a screen here and there.
But he can be in a contested rebound with a guard, with a 6'2" guard, and he will not come down with that rebound. And it drives me insane. And that is just against the identity of this team. I don't know. I'll be right now. It's his future with the Thunder is looking bleak.
All while the guy that we were very certain, now, granted, we
Yeah.
liked him a lot more, but the guy we were very certain that wouldn't start because he didn't space the floor well enough.
Spacing the
is
hell out that
shooting
floor.
37% from 3 right now.
Yeah, and leading the team. Jerami
And-
Grant leading
and
the team in 3-point percentage
He
this year.
looks so much better than Patrick
It's
Patterson.
not even close.
It's insane.
Yep. Jerami Grant had one of his worst games last night, probably. But he's been playing good ball. Leads the team. I mean, okay, if I'd have told you before the season that we'd be, how many games in are we? 19? If we'd be 19 games in and Grant leads the team in 3-point percentage at 36.2,
Fake
and
news.
Schroder is
19 and 0.
and Schroder is second in 3-point percentage.
We're the best team in the league.
Would that be a good thing, or would you be like, oh no, oh
That
no?
means everybody else has missed everything.
Mostly
Yeah.
because of Paul George, I'd be like, oh no.
Yeah.
Well,
right?
what does that mean, Paul George? It's
a little scary there.
At that point, I'm assuming, okay, so you've got Jerami Grant probably shooting 28%. Schroeder's probably shooting 26.
Oh no.
Paul George probably hasn't made a 3 this entire season. Like, that's a scary thought.
So what do you do about this shooting? Let's actually just focus on Patterson right now. What do you do with Patterson? Last night he didn't play in the second half. I'm pretty sure. Deonte Burton got all of his minutes, I believe, in the second
As he
half.
should have.
Is that what
Way
we're gonna
better
see going-
player.
Should Deonte Burton get his minutes going forward?
Kinda. Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it right now. I'm really
He's
not.
actually confident about his game. Like, he's trying.
He's gonna mess up sometimes because he's young
Yeah.
and he hasn't been there, and he's not gonna be probably as good of a ball mover as Patrick Patterson. Probably not as good of a screen
I'm
setter.
going to be honest. All of Patrick Patterson's ball movement lately has been catch it.
Yeah. He
He
doesn't have any
holds it for 3
confidence.
seconds and
Yeah.
then hands it back to the guy that's next to him. And he's like,
Yeah, he
you-
does.
you
You're
take
right.
it.
You're right. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but that's not a long-term solution. Even I don't think Burton playing at the 4 is even a short-term solution there. I mean, you can slide guys up, and hopefully you can use Paul George at times, like what we've seen a little bit where they've been able to get away with Paul George at the 4. But I mean, Burton he's thick, but he's not
He
a
is
linebacker.
thick. He is thick.
But you're still going to struggle, and he's not a good shooter either. Like he's
okay.
Shooting 20% through this last week.
Well,
whenever your minutes are going to increase,
Better than Pat.
20%. It is
true.
13% better from 3, but it's still not 20% from 3 in this last week. I don't know that you can. I wouldn't.
But at least he takes the ball to the rim.
Well, he does other things, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the point. Yeah, but he's also still going to be undersized whenever he's trying to defend.
He's 33.3% from 3 on the year. By the way,
He's also 4th on the team in field goal percentage.
I do
Just gonna
worry
throw that
though.
one out there.
Like it's fine to bring up these, the season as a whole so far, but when his minutes are picking up, I do worry that his shooting percentage is coming down.
Oh yeah.
So that's a concern for me.
Yeah, and
And-
he's had a couple games where you're just like, oh, yep, he's young.
And it's gonna be a learning experience to a certain degree for him too. I mean, he's being thrown in the fire a little bit because of the injuries to Ferguson and Diallo. Like they're gonna call on him and they're gonna be like, hey, we need you to throw in there. And his game is very clearly, oh, I like the ball in my hands. I like attacking. So he's got to learn a little bit of that's not always the best option.
Right.
But the fact that he's not afraid to do it,
It's pretty cool.
I like that. I like that about him. And he's thick, like you said. He's like, I mean, has he? To me, he's earned real minutes on this team. Like whether it's, I'm not saying he deserves to play 25, 30 minutes a game, but I think that he's a 12 to 15 minute per game guy right now.
Because of injuries or with regardless of injuries?
Well,
Because to me, it's only because of injuries.
I think
Well, I
it's
mean, if
mostly
it's-
because of injuries and then partially because of Patrick Patterson. I like right now I'm playing him over Patrick Patterson. Like Patrick Patterson's giving me no reason to play him. Now you can stick with him through the slump, and that's what Billy is going to do. Billy's going to give him a chance to break out of the slump because, like I said, he's 0 for his last 18. That can't continue.
That's crazy.
The law of averages will not let that continue.
Yeah.
But God.
Unless
Is
he
he
just-
good? Is he good? Can he play?
I'll say this: I bet Brook Lopez thought he was, by the time he got to 0 for 12, he was like, "No, the next one's going in."
He
So
said 0 for 11.
yeah,
This next one is
Yeah.
going to go in.
So with Burton, just real quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
With Burton, are you okay with playing him that much and letting that two-way contract become a full-on NBA contract and having him solidify that last roster spot, or do you still want that open to have a little bit of flexibility?
I don't see a reason to sign him until you've used up his days on his two-way contract. Like
would
it doesn't make a ton of sense to just lock that in. Like because maybe this is just him playing well at the moment, and then he has some more of those 0 for 3 games that he had one of those like a couple days
How
ago.
useful is I still go back to this though, injuries. Like whenever you are healthy, and we're assuming that Diallo and Ferguson will come back,
And Dre.
And Dre, yeah.
But in the short term, I'm talking in the short term, like hopefully those two guys will be able to come back.
Let's do it, guys.
And then whenever you do get into December and January and Dre does come back, like to me, I don't know whose minutes do you cut at that point?
I will say that Billy, when asked about Burton, he said that ideally he sees him as a 4. He sees him as a small ball 4. He doesn't think that he's there yet. He doesn't think that he's capable of playing that position yet. But that's where he wants Burton to get to.
We also saw Jerami Grant as a small 5,
Yeah.
and that was a mess as well. Like to me, it just doesn't. I don't like it at all. Like I'm hoping that that's not the goal for Burton.
I hope it is the goal, and I hope that they can get there because I think that's what makes the most sense. Burton is a very positionless basketball guy to me. Like he's He's a guy that can do a little bit of everything. He's not great at one particular thing.
Which can be good, and it can also be terrible.
Right, it can be good and it can be bad. But I think that's a good thing going forward. The Thunder need some of these guys because they have a bunch of guys that can only play defense. They have a bunch of guys that,
You need somebody
can
that
only
do
play
both
defense.
of them?
That's basically what it is.
You almost said shooting, and then you were like, oh, no.
Yeah, I was like, they don't have any other.
Yeah, that-
one, and they have Alex Abrines. A bunch of guys that can only play defense, and then Alex Abrines.
It's very ill.
Yeah, apparently. And like you said, according to WebMD, has
Lots
all of the illnesses.
Lots of them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Russ
Oh,
down.
no,
Russ is down.
I don't know about Burton. Like, I'm with you, Jason. I think that there's no incentive to sign him right now, but I think that if you do some sort of like 2 out, 1 in trade, where you send 2 guys out and you get 1 in, like maybe you make a trade for Kyle Korver or whatever hypothetical situation you want to put.
I heard it was
there.
Bradley Beal.
Could be Bradley
Money
Beal.
doesn't work, damn it.
He's coming in. No, whatever it is, and you send 2 out and you put your roster at 13, I'm not opposed to giving him a real contract.
I don't have a problem giving him a real contract. I just don't want him as a 4. And I think that you're setting him up for failure.
4. Nice pun.
Hey,
Yeah.
got him.
I think that you're doing
Russ is down again.
him a
You
disservice
need to put him up there where he can stand up.
if you have to use him in that way.
That's fair. Do we want to move on?
Let's-
Anyone got any unsaid things?
Said all my
Stuff.
I said so much.
Said all your saids?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do this.
So, what is this?
Okay, this is new, so we're learning just like you all are. Okay, so I have this cup, and it's each of our names.
We're not sure.
Do we want to start with Billy, or do we want to start with Sam? We got some big heads here. We're going to do a little role playing.
We're going back and forth, right? We just.
I think we should do one at a time.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you think?
Just go ahead. Let's start with one of them.
Okay, let's start with one of them. Who wants to draw? Draw a name, Justin. Let's see whoever. This is going to be Billy Donovan to start.
All right. So this person is going to be Billy.
Yes. Open it.
I'm working.
taking a while.
Open it.
It's a really small thing.
I crumpled it.
I ripped it a little
I
bit.
feel like he
real
went
tight.
overboard on the making it mysterious.
Hey, it's me.
All right.
Wow, that's collusion, I think.
Justin is Billy Donovan.
So good.
It's so big. It's too
So do
big,
I-
really.
You want me to ask?
Sure.
Very,
you
very.
got something?
So we just talked about Patterson a lot, and I actually found a solution. I'm going to ask Billy about this. Can you be a dad and just ground Pat from all movies until he shoots 40% for 3 games in a row?
Look, I think what we've seen from Patrick Patterson, a lot of very, very good things. Like, he's in a slump right now. You have to live with the slump. You have to play him through the slump. We're going to see some good things out of him. He's just got to hit a few shots. So he's going to get out there a bunch. We're going to give these young guys a little bit of a chance sometimes, but we're going to make sure that he gets his shot because he's a veteran. He's committed to the system. We love that about him. So Patrick Patterson needs to still be out there. He's going to hit some shots. He'll rebound.
I appreciate you not mentioning grounding him for movies at all. Thank you.
No,
Thank you,
no,
Bill.
no. He needs the movies to make sure that he's still good.
I like that he'll rebound. That'll be
That'd
an
be cool.
interesting.
Never seen him do that before, Billy.
He will rebound from his bad shooting, not rebound
I know.
on the offensive and defensive glass.
Definitely not. No, you got one, Robert? You want me to go in?
Oh, on old Billy?
Yeah.
I
Just
got one.
attack him, you know?
I'll keep it. I'll keep it a
his
little
feet
light
warm.
for Billy. Better cough drops, Ricola or Halls?
Ricola.
Ooh, that's the right answer.
Loves cough drops.
I got a follow up there.
Okay. Follow up to the cough drop question.
Better flavor. Honey, strawberry, or cherry?
Ooh. Honey strawberry. Oh, that's not one flavor.
flavors.
How much
Okay.
do you eat cough drops?
I thought there was a
These
honey
are the-
strawberry flavor. I was
These
super
are the
intrigued.
hard-hitting questions.
Look, in my days at Florida, I was a huge fan of cherry. Give me that little fruit spring to my game. Was able to manage my rotations really well. But now, as I've matured into an NBA coach, I'm sticking with honey.
I only have cherry Ludens ever, because those aren't real. They're just candy.
I got one more. Are you gonna go?
Yeah, I'll get
you
you
go.
right here. Okay. You, Billy, you haven't even tried to play Adams and Noel together.
Knew
once.
it was coming.
Not once this year. What's the reasoning behind that?
Do you remember when I tried to play Steven Adams and Enes Kanter? And
Yeah.
it was great, but Enes Kanter could shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And Noel, not so sure about it. That's why I'm hesitant to do it. I don't want to see that, and I don't want to get exposed too much because we're packing the paint so much right now on offense. Can you imagine those two guys that can't really shoot impeding Russ and Schroder getting to the bucket? I'm not about that. We're trying to play fast.
Follow-up question on that. What has Nerlens done to you? What has happened? Let me throw this at you. Patrick Patterson, who we all just crapped on. Patrick Patterson, we all just crapped on. Shouldn't be playing. Over this 5-game stretch, averaging 13.2 minutes. Noel
over 18.
Over 18. Noel 11.8. I don't understand that at all. There's no value in Patterson, but yet he continues to get minutes. If you're looking, we talked about Burton. If you're looking for somebody to step in at a 4, how about Noel? How about we try it?
And Billy, I don't mean to pile on.
Hey, Rob.
Pile on because this is ridiculous.
You ever thought about being a little bit more cordial about your question?
God, this is like a hot steak.
But I will say that there seems to be times that you could at least try Noel there. It's, even if it's just a 2 or 3 minute stretch, and you've been really hesitant to pull the trigger there.
Look, don't think that I haven't thought about it quite a bit, because I have. However, I was the head coach at the University of Florida.
I'll keep bringing that up.
Both those guys...
It's like you went to OU.
Both those guys went to Kentucky. Patrick Patterson didn't hurt me that bad, but Nerlens Noel certainly did. So, yeah, I'm still a little butthurt about the way Nerlens played against my Florida Gators teams. So, not about it. He's sitting on the bench as much as I can actually allow. We're still going to win games, though. All
right, I got one more for you. Have you ever thought about putting a shot collar on Russell Westbrook? Like, just whenever he's taking, 4 to 5 dribbles and then pulls up for a 3, you just zap him real quick, make him pass it?
Oh, part of his contract is any sort of punishment that Russ gets, I have to take as well.
Oh, I understand not doing it then.
Plus, he's a really cerebral player. You have to say that.
Yeah, that has to be an answer.
Last one for you, Billy. How much easier is this team to coach without Carmelo Anthony on it?
Look, Carmelo was a great guy. He was absolutely a great guy.
I agree with you 100%.
Very, very great basketball sense.
Would you stop putting that back up? Just leave it.
Obviously a legend of the game. But yeah, no, this team is so much more cohesive. I love the way the game flows with this team. We've got a great thing going on. I'm still trying to tinker with, find the best things that I can do with this roster on a night-to-night basis. So that's where we're going with that. But as far as not having Melo, so much more flexibility, and it's so much nicer to coach this team now.
Thanks for your time, Billy.
I have one more, Billy, you draw to see who's going to be Sam Presti. Do you hold a little resentment towards Sam, speaking of, for just not providing you with any shooting this season?
I mean, yeah, it makes it tough, but look, I'm committed to the defensive. I can't do this one-handed.
Yeah, I'll do it.
You couldn't do it two-handed. So.
I'm going to throw this at you. So I'm just going to throw Russ at you. No,
I am Sam Presti.
It is incredibly frustrating to deal with that, but at the same time, look, you can only play the schedule that's in front of you, and you can only play the guys that are on your roster. We've built this defense into the #1 defense in the NBA through 19 games, and that's part of what my system is going to be. And with Russ and Schroder and Steven Adams, Nerlens Noel, you've got so many guys that can get downhill, run the pick and roll really well, attack the basket extremely well, and you still have Paul George on the outside. We can find ways to make this roster successful even without great outside shooting. And we still have that roster spot open. We could still get a shooter, and we're talking about Sam. We're talking to Sam for that.
Good stuff, Billy. I appreciate you taking out the time for us. Sam Presti to the podium.
Hey, Sam. I have a question for you real quick.
Hey, can I do my opening address?
Oh, yeah, I guess you need to do that for about an hour. You need an hour or so?
Fine, go ahead. This is a real casual press conference.
Oh, okay.
Also, the words, vocabulary will not be the same. Will not even be close.
I just had a real quick question. What's the longest you ever gone without having a haircut?
Well, I don't like to go more than a week. My wife gets on to me about it.
Yeah.
But, every once in a while, duty calls. We're on the road for a couple weeks. I like to go watch my team, so every once in a while it's a 2-week thing. But, man, I don't like my sides to get too long. Sisters and Scotch is where I like to go. They trim me up real nice. I get a nice cocktail. I go Scotch. They got the members-only Scotch there if you want to get a little sophisticated. So, yeah, 1 to 2 weeks.
All I like it. All right.
I got one here for you, old Sam.
Okay.
Does the early success this season...
Hi, Robert.
Hello? Samuel. Does the early success this season, as we said earlier, they had a chance to be in first by themselves if they had won last night. Does that lead you to want to be more aggressive or less aggressive in the trade market?
I'm a big Tribe Called Quest fan.
Right now I don't think is necessarily the time to address that with Russell being in and out of the lineup as he has been. This team has shown promise as far as chemistry goes, as far as the way it works together at times. We've had some down moments, but we've had a lot more high moments than we have had those, especially when you compare it to last season. Trade deadline's many months away, and that's when I tend to do my best work. So I'm going to give it time. I don't want to mess anything up. I don't want to fix anything that ain't broke, as they say, as Tribe Called Quest probably says.
Dave, that's definitely in a song, for sure.
It's got to be in one of their songs.
Don't fix anything that's not broke.
Yep.
So I don't want to do anything too drastic right now. If you look at the Western Conference standings right now, no one's setting themselves apart. So I don't feel necessarily desperate to make a move at this moment. However, I understand that we do have faults, and I will be looking into those because that is my job as general manager.
Are you saying that you're trading Steven Adams for Bradley Beal?
I can neither confirm or deny said report.
All right.
Sam, I got a question for you. If you were to list your untouchables on this roster right now, guys that you would never absolutely trade under any circumstance on this team, unless like a LeBron or a 1994 Michael Jordan were to come along. That was after he retired for the first time, but anyway,
can't trade him if he's out of the league, baby.
Well, he was a free agent. He was a free agent, so you can pick him up.
Is this like a time machine situation you're talking about?
So, anyways, what are your untouchable guys? Guys you would never absolutely think about trading ever.
Well, I think if you look, you got to start with Russell Westbrook and what he's done for the city, what he's done for this team, and the loyalty.
Loyalness.
That's a
Good
Sam
one,
word.
Sam.
Hey, I had a few drinks last night. It was my anniversary. Anyways, no, you got to start. It all starts and ends with Russell Westbrook. He's a guy that's been loyal to this franchise, signed a big contract. He's done everything for this team, and so I wouldn't even dream of trading him unless the perfect package was offered.
What would that perfect package be?
I'm sorry?
What would that perfect package be?
I don't. No, I said he's untouchable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless the perfect package
was offered. And then next would be Paul George, because what he's also done for this franchise, we went on and got him for a reason. He re-signed for 3 years. He showed faith in us, and I want to show faith in him.
Scared money don't make none.
Outside of that, I don't think there's anyone that's untouchable. If the price is right, they can be had.
So we've seen this team more so this season than in previous years sort of lean on these younger guys. So the question that I have for you is, let's rank these guys on what we've seen so far and how you feel about their potential going forward.
Well, it's like your sons, you love them all equally.
Yeah, but you're gonna choose. You always choose.
But some of you gotta send to military school.
So this is outside of Sam's comfort zone, I will admit. But what is my pool here?
Talks in third person.
So we'll do Diallo, Ferguson.
Throwing Burton in there.
Throw in Burton. And
TLC, Nader.
And TLC. Just leave Nader.
Not
Nader's
Nader. He's not even a person.
Okay. Are we going based on how good they are right now, or how good they project to
projections,
be?
yeah.
How much I value
feeling,
them?
What you've seen
What's your
so
spreadsheet
far.
showing for the future?
Okay. Number one is going to be Hamidou Diallo. I think that he's shown so much promise as a second-round pick. As a young guy, he has a knack. He has a nose for the ball. He's always in the right spot. Comes up with a big steal every single game, it seems like, and it's not like he just comes up with the steal and our team gets the ball. He finishes the play. He comes up with the steal and he drives to the other end and he finishes the play. Number 2 is going to be Terrence Ferguson. I'm really proud of this kid. He's gone through a lot. Early in the season, the fans weren't necessarily behind him. Last season, the fans weren't necessarily behind him. He's stuck with it. He's stuck with the process. He's a sponge. He listens to everything the veterans say. He's going to be number 2 for me. And then throw those other guys.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 is going to be Burton. TLC is going to be 4th.
Okay.
That's how it's going to be.
That works.
Yeah, I mean, TLC, he's shown a little bit here and there. He's not shy. That's what you got to like about Tim. But I just don't think he can play. I don't think he can play well enough at a sustained level.
Really throwing him under the bus. in public.
There's a reason we didn't pick up his 4th-year option, okay?
Ooh,
Yeah, that's
nice.
a good point. Sam, do you have some weird propensity for guys from the University of Kentucky and Iowa State University for some reason?
Well, I think if you look at college basketball and
Why would you though?
but if you do, it is my job as general manager of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Right, don't.
If you look at it, Kentucky's been a very successful franchise as far as recruiting goes, and they often have a stacked roster, and it's not like I'm hand selecting players from Kentucky and from Iowa State. It just happens to work out that way. I mean, if you're talking about Deonte Burton, you're talking about Abdul Nader as far as the Iowa State guys. There's not another one, right?
Just a little coinky-dink there,
Yeah,
right?
I think that one's more coincidental, but you could say that I have an affinity for University of Kentucky products.
So with Dennis Schroder having a pretty successful year so far in Oklahoma City, do you see him being the point guard of the future here? Maybe life after Russ,
Oh, man.
so to speak.
Listen, there's always a chance of that. We don't know what Russ's future holds. We don't know how he feels about his own future. Dennis has 2 years left on his contract after this season. Dennis is a great player. We love him in Oklahoma City. Russell is a great player. We love him in Oklahoma City. Ideally, we'd like to keep those guys as a combo going forward. So it all depends. But if it comes down to it and it's best for both sides, when it comes time to move on from Russell Westbrook, or Russell Westbrook decides to retire at an early age, then maybe Dennis Schroder is the point guard of the future. However, I don't envision that happening. I envision Dennis Schroder moving on from the Thunder much earlier than we get to that point. There's going to be teams wanting Dennis Schroder. Watching the way he's playing this season, There's going to be teams that will trade, and I plan on him being one of my biggest assets. How about that?
Good job, guys.
Good job, Sam.
Good job, Sam.
Thanks.
Also, why didn't you trade Serge instead of Harden?
You just dropped that one in there.
I got to get out of here. I got a haircut.
Yeah, okay. All right, see you later.
How was that?
That was good.
That was fun.
That was a good time.
Y'all like
A little
to
role play.
Huh? What we got next? That's right.
Social media inquiries.
I think next time we do that, we should take questions from the listeners.
I like that.
Where they ask Sam and Billy. Because I will say that Sam and Billy are our only two heads we own. We don't have anyone else.
We'll get some more.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Get them made for us. Send them to us. How about that?
From Zach at Zach_DP. Why doesn't the Thunder go to PG for 3-pointers late in games? I mean, call me crazy, but he's the most well-rounded scorer on our team.
I will say that last night against Denver, I was just screaming, just let Paul George shoot threes. I don't care.
Why not?
Shoot them every time.
Hashtag.
So yeah, I think that is a thing that reintegrating Russell Westbrook, Paul George. It felt like Paul George was playing a little better when Russell Westbrook wasn't back, but I pulled the numbers and they don't really suggest that. They're about even, honestly.
And it's such a small sample size, though.
Right.
It's going to be hard to tell anyways, but it wouldn't make sense, I don't think, if it did end up being that way where he was playing better without Russ, it would, I don't know.
And it's actually a pretty even sample size. It's 11 with and 8 without.
Yeah.
So, you can actually make a fair comparison there, but obviously his points are a little up without Russell Westbrook, but not drastically. They're 2.5 points up, which is what you expect. Rebounds are a little up, assists are a little up without him. His field goal percentage is about the same. His 3-point percentage is better with Russ. With Russ is what you would expect, I would say, too, because Russ often sets him up. So they're pretty much the same.
There's no way Billy's going to say anything to Russ about shooting so many threes, especially in that game, but really in that fourth quarter. But, I don't know. It does it does make me wonder, somebody has to say something, right, to get it to go to run sets to make sure. Not just to run sets for Paul George, hoping that it works out to get him the ball, but to make sure that Paul George is ending up with the ball and getting a decent shot.
And maybe that guy needs to be Paul George. Maybe Paul George needs to go say, give me the ball.
Yeah. Hey, bud.
But
remember how I'm a better shooter than you?
But I also will say
throwing it out there
that Paul George doesn't necessarily have the best track record as far as clutch shooting.
That Gatorade commercial, a lie.
Oh, yeah. He looks good in those.
Oh, no, that's true. That's true.
Ball game.
When the ball is clearly not even online, too. Go back and watch
It's
that.
accurate up until it switches to the basket.
From Toddy Skiv at Sigto117. Time to move on from two-pat? Question mark.
Yes.
We have two-way guys coming in and making more impact.
Here's what I think about Patterson too is I think that he luckily holds a little value as trade value because it could be a situation I think that people will give him credit more than they give the Thunder credit. Meaning that I think that there will be a team that is looking for a veteran in his position that will be willing to bring him in because maybe the Thunder isn't the best situation for him.
Like maybe this just isn't the best fit. You've seen him work in other places. Like it worked.
Right. Whereas if he's a young guy, those other teams you might not get anything for him because those other teams might that guy's just not any good.
He hasn't made a shot in so long.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's been so long.
Over his last 18 is what I heard.
Since Phoenix?
Yeah, it's not good.
Wow.
Not good.
And he only made one in that. That guy.
And it was his first one, by the way.
How long?
No, it's been a few games. He's
How
over
long can
18.
he continue to play him though? Like, and I agree with what you said earlier.
I say let's see how long the streak goes. Let's just
Let
find
him
out.
put up 3 a game and
I
just
agree
see
that
what
Billy
happens.
is going to continue to play him.
Do you just pull him
really?
out?
Because there's not anything else you can really do. I don't think.
Do you pull him out as
You
soon as
have
he
to
misses
hope-
his third?
You have to hope that he figures it out and that he just starts to make shots.
It sucks that when Schroder comes on the court and he's out there with, say, it's Schroder, TLC, Patterson, Noel, and who do you want to put at the 3? Abrines. Let's say Abrines. It's like, God, who's going to score, man? It has to be Schroder, and no one's going to score.
Yeah.
Like, and
Makes you miss Diallo, huh?
it makes you miss Diallo, which is crazy because Diallo's not necessarily a half-court scorer, but he
He's
makes
better than those dudes.
he makes things happen.
He
but
moves, yeah.
if Patterson makes shots, changes everything.
Right.
From Beastbrook Season 12-7 at In Birdie We Trust. Is Dwight Howard's career officially over?
No. Are we getting into this?
No, we're not going to
His
get
butt
too into
hurts.
it because we don't know enough.
His butt hurts.
We don't know enough.
Maybe he'll be all right.
No, his career's. I mean, well, it might be over, but not because of this recent news, man.
No.
Not
More because of his buttocks injury.
or because he's in his like however manyth year, and he's just not that good anymore.
Yeah.
He was really good against the Thunder, though.
Yeah,
It's
I'd
kind of
have
a
to-
bummer.
I don't even know what his numbers are, but
don't either.
I've watched a couple of games and he's still. I mean, he looked okay.
Well,
but-
that's the weird thing about this whole situation is that he finally is actually doing what a team's asking him to do and like fitting in fine with the organization, and everything's like the organization's a dumpster fire, but yet he's not the cause of it.
Yeah.
But
And now all this stuff
But-
comes out, and it's
this stuff didn't come out, to be fair, until he was part of the team.
that's true.
I'm not saying he's the cause of it, but maybe there's just a little
It's
something,
just
something
got a little
that
bit of-
follows Dwight Howard around.
He's got some bad juju going around with him.
Yeah,
I don't know.
could be.
Could be.
Love who you want to love. Just don't do some of the other stuff. But whoever you want to love, that's
Don't get
fine.
blackmailed, bro.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it after.
Check
off
for
the court.
recording
That's-
devices if you're famous. That's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah, and we can't touch the story like that because it's a non-story. It's
Yeah.
someone on Twitter that's putting
no one
stuff
knows
out.
the facts.
No one knows facts. So, and you know, based on what we've seen, you can't really draw any conclusions, and you can't really come to any judgments on anybody. If anything, the most judgment you can make is, well, wow, you really just recorded a bunch of stuff from some dude for no reason.
Why are you doing that?
Love who
Well,
you
maybe
love.
for a reason. I
Love
guess.
who you love. That's our message.
From Caleb Jones at Caleb_Jones_. If the Thunder have this much depth, how is it possible that we don't have enough assets to grab Beal?
Here we go again.
Oh man, this is a lot of money that he's
Look,
getting paid.
Here. I think that
Let's throw that out
I
there
think that
again.
they might have enough assets to grab Beal. I don't think anyone's saying that they don't. But here's that assets. It's gonna have to include Steven Adams, right? Why would Washington take any? I don't think the Thunder can possibly make the money work
No.
without Steven Adams. You can throw in. It'd have to be Robertson, Grant, and then maybe like you throw in Diallo or something and a pick.
And do you really want to do all that? And
Maybe.
also, the
Maybe.
word around the league is apparently the ask for Beal is so astronomically high that it's really not even.
Is that not the word after like when any trade
Well,
becomes available?
and
Yeah,
also-
I mean, that was the same for Butler. Like everybody was saying, like
Right.
their ask is ridiculous, and eventually it's like, okay, fine, we haven't won a game in 2 months.
If if Presti finds a way to keep Schroder, I don't think that Bradley Beal's coming here. If Presti finds a way to keep Schroder and Adams in that situation, then
You do it.
that's incredible to
Yeah.
me. Like I don't. So it just seems unreal.
Yeah, Yeah.
But
I'd agree.
I would say Presti's like the one guy you would leave that up to figuring out. Right?
Well, especially because I don't know what Bradley Beal's contract is exactly, but I'm pretty sure he has a couple years left.
It's like 25 and then 27, and I think there's an option maybe.
So if you have, if you're able to pull a deal and your top guys are Westbrook, George, Adams, Beal, and Schroder,
Yeah,
Wow.
no, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why I say
do it.
yeah, then you just fill in. Then you just fish off the buyout market, get some free agent, bring back David West. You know he'll take another ring.
Yeah, he's 25 this year, 27 next year, 28 the next year.
Nailed it.
That's a lot of money.
Did you say it's lit?
I nailed it.
Oh,
Oh.
It's lit that I nailed it.
Oh,
Is that a
no.
thing?
You shouldn't say that.
Oh,
I didn't.
we
I
got
think you can.
Two-way.
We got two kind of similar ones. One from Luke Helms at Luke the Duke 4550 and Thunder_Thunder at Thunder_Go. Basically on Russ. What's up with Russ's bad habits, and is Russ just an inherent gambler as far as his offensive and defensive tendencies
Definitely
go?
loves to gamble on the old defense. Can give him that for sure.
Well, sometimes his gambling pays off, but
It
that's
does.
gambling. That's why it's called gambling, right?
Yeah. Sometimes you win, sometimes you're in a Super 8 in the bathroom throwing up. In Vegas, I don't know.
Super 8 in Vegas too. God, what a
That's not a good time.
What a depressing Vegas
Not a
trip.
good time, I'm telling you that right now. Not from personal experience.
Plus, like, what bathroom are you in? Like the room, like your room's bathroom, or are you in like the lobby bathroom at the Super 8?
Let's say lobby, because that's way worse. That's not good.
The guy behind the cage that checks you in, just worried about you.
You okay in there,
Those are
bud?
for customers only. You're just puking in there.
What?
Your rooms are $39 a night, bro. I can puke in there if I want.
What's the question again? What are we talking
Is
about?
Russ a gambler?
Well, one is Russ a gamer, but two, like, what the hell is up with his bad habits, especially shooting the ball,
Yeah.
the basketball.
Yeah.
To me,
That's your answer. Yeah, he does it.
That's just
He sure does.
That's the bad thing. Is so, like, I'm trying to, like, mesh these two questions together, and, like, I'm not doing a bad job. It's just the problem is with the answer. That's just
it's
who
kinda-
Russ
yeah.
is.
Yeah, I
that's
don't
just the
think this
kind of
is-
guy that he is. That's the way he plays. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's what are you gonna tell that guy?
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
by the way, that
Yeah.
that most valuable player award didn't mean anything. Like, who the hell cares? Like, just go let him play. He'll figure it out.
Take the good with the bad.
Yeah, this isn't anything
Bad
that's
was good.
just like out of the ordinary, right? I mean,
yeah.
and it was his
Yeah.
11th game last night. It was his 11th
He'll be
game.
fine.
We've seen, like I said earlier in the podcast, man. We've seen games where Russ takes a stupid amount of threes, and then he comes back and for 5 straight games he doesn't take a three. Over under how many games he takes Wednesday versus the Cavs? 1.5.
How many threes he takes?
Yeah, what'd you say?
Over under threes he takes versus the Cavs
There it
Wednesday,
is.
1.5.
I'm going over.
Under.
I'll go under.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be surprised if it's under, right?
I'd be surprised if it was under.
Really?
Well, that's just Rob. That's just Rob for you.
No, I mean I do. I would. No, I don't expect him to shoot under that.
6.5. Over under.
Oh, I'll go under
Here's
that.
the number.
I'm trying to figure out his number. 3.5.
I'll go. I mean, I think that he will be more conservative. Although, why are you
think-
shooting all those shots afterwards if you don't plan on shooting in the game? So 12 again, I guess.
Oh, God damn it.
Maybe he just wanted to
Pop
prove to
back up
himself
there.
that he can. Like he starts making them that night, and he was like, "All right, I'm good. I'll go home."
Yeah. Next week, I'll nail him. I'll 12 for 12 from
He's
3.
like, "No, he's like, I'm not gonna shoot him, but I know that I can make him because I just did it the other night."
All right, last one we've got from Clayton Boatman at Boatman Clayton. Thoughts on starting Deonte Burton? TLC seems a little
What?
more confident on ball defending, but Burton just has that thing.
I like
He's
it.
talking about with the injuries.
Yeah, I like that, and I think that that's. I mean,
I actually like it too.
what you were getting out of Diallo, like if you have to put somebody in there and you
He's a
wanted,
more similar
you were gonna
guy.
do Diallo, yeah. Burton seems to be earning that more than TLC.
Yeah, Burton had a finish last night that was like, whew.
Dude.
Around the
Man.
rim, he's pretty good.
He
yeah.
is pretty good around the rim. He's crafty.
He's
He's
a nice
got a
little
craftiness
touch
to him.
mid-range shot, too.
And
Wasn't too
like
bad.
I love having the strength out there. Just something that gives you an edge, you know? Like I don't think TLC gives you an edge in anything.
Yeah, he's
Burton
just kind of
gives-
like a normal dude out there.
Yeah, Burton gives you an edge in something. He's strong as shit.
Thick too. I heard he's
Let's
thick.
do some notes.
notes.
So I'm gonna run through
I
these
just
real
let
quick.
you guys do that one. That's
We
fine.
got some stuff. So I'm gonna run through these real quick. Congratulations to Russell Westbrook on the births of his twin daughters.
Oh,
Is it births or birth?
and Terrence Ferguson.
And Terrence.
And Terrence Ferguson too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not twin daughters,
Not
but
twins,
just a
but-
daughter.
A lot of babies
Just a
around
single
here
one.
lately, huh?
Births. You had one. You had one. Justin's gonna have one. And
No, I heard you're having.
No, he's next. He called him being next.
No, let's not talk about this.
Ooh, you got in trouble, I think.
Amazon has bid for 22. I feel like we should stay there. but
Yeah.
I think I'll
Seems-
move. Amazon has bid for 22 regional sports networks, one of which is Fox Sports Oklahoma. So,
Please,
Yeah.
please buy it.
yeah. I mean, so what are the pros here?
We get the TV deal for the Thunder, and we get to call all the games. I
Oh,
think
they
that's-
should not
That's the
let us
pro
do
right
that.
there.
I like it.
No, they should. It's
That would
on
be
Amazon.
such a huge mistake by them.
Yeah, the FCC would be on our asses.
Boom, right there.
See?
Flagged.
We just had to. We had to dump everything Jason says.
Thunder has added a Kansas City radio affiliate, expanding the Thunder radio network to 15 stations in 13 cities. We're going global, boys.
Good on you, Matt Pinto.
Okay.
Amadou Diallo is set to
Cha-ching,
be
a Thunder
evaluated.
Moneyball.
Huh?
Cha-ching, a Thunder Moneyball.
Yeah.
Amadou Diallo is set to be evaluated in 4 to 7 days for what is being described as a left ankle sprain after he's that's what he suffered against the Warriors.
What
on
a
Wednesday.
miracle that was.
Right?
That looked like a season-ending injury. I was very frightened for him.
Especially when Terrence Ferguson, another note, is set to be evaluated in 8 to 10 days from now.
Yeah.
Ferguson's injury worse than Diallo's,
Doesn't make any
according
sense.
to that. That's crazy.
Dude got taken off in a stretcher.
Second straight year the Warriors played the Thunder played the Warriors the night before Thanksgiving. By the way,
Yep.
kind of weird. Thunder wore orange accessories with their white uniforms against the Warriors. How'd you guys feel about that?
I'm for it. Rob, against it, I assume.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's what I thought.
These young whippersnappers.
I
you
think
know?
they were okay too. Like,
I liked them.
but I liked that it was a change up.
It's something different. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. That's
Thanks, y'all.
well.
I wish they'd settle on their orange color. Though.
Yeah, why change it
that
every
was like really orange, where it wasn't sunset. You know, that one was orange.
Yeah, it's strange.
Thunder Blue. Which apparently they're
Of
going
course,
to
the
have.
OU fan would say don't do orange.
They're going to have Thunder Blue accessories coming up here pretty soon, according to the OKC tracker. So
Here's where I would oppose that. Is I think with the orange, it made them look unique. It made them look like their own team. They
Yeah.
looked like it was like you look at it. Oh, that's the Thunder. Whereas if it's blue, there's a lot of teams with that color scheme. So I don't know. I kind of liked it. I liked that they were just
two?
trying some things. Whatever. That's more than one. That's all I'm saying. Like
That's true. Two's more than one. That's a fact.
the OKC Blue have acquired Anthony Robertson, the brother of Andre Robertson.
Oh, I didn't
yeah.
even know he had a brother.
Look out.
That's impressive.
Free throws about to get worse.
Oh no.
What if he's really good though?
I
What
might
if he
be.
can only shoot free throws, can't play defense?
Robertson he's a 6'5" guard.
They were twins.
That's
Cliff and Chris Paul kind of a thing, huh?
Yeah. He has a mustache, right? No.
all right. We got basketballs here, boys.
where does he even go?
Hopefully, you guys have learned this game by now. If not,
Tell him about it.
we each take a team. We get a team each week. It represents our record. At the end of the month, we evaluate. That's the punishment I was paying off tonight. I
Yeah.
had to eat
Yeah.
that because I lost.
Also,
last
you
month.
finished that way faster than I thought
Did
you
you
would.
kind of enjoy it?
It seemed like you kind of got into it like halfway through.
hit your stride definitely.
As it went on, it was better. Okay, so we get one pick. There's
I'm
every
upset
NBA
about that.
team in here, and there's 6 wild card balls. You get one pick. If you don't like the pick, you can put it back, and you get another. But you have to stick with that one. And this is our pick until next Saturday.
Just throwing it out there. If you guys get the Utah Jazz, throw that motherfucker back in the basket.
Current standings, what Jason is referencing here. Justin's in first, who is so good at this game somehow.
Looks inside the basket while he's drawing.
He had the Bucks last week, went 4-1. He's 7-1 overall. Rob had the Nets last week, went 2-3.
Not bad.
4-4 overall. Jason had the Jazz. He went 1-4. He's 1-7 overall. As am I. I had the Bulls against the spread. That didn't go well. Justin,
How bad did it go?
1-4.
Hey,
Don't
Can I
look.
see-
Justin.
Yeah, you're not looking. I see you're not looking. Put your hand in there.
I got a
He's got a
so
little
bad.
peephole on that side.
Just go.
Knicks. That's a no-no.
No, you should have
Oh,
kept that.
come
They're
on.
good. Ennis Cantor's on that team. He's pretty solid.
They got Frank Ntilikina.
Tim Hardaway Jr. His dad was good.
I'll take the Pacers. That's fine.
God damn it.
That's a good draw. It's Rob's draw.
They do play, so they've got Utah, Phoenix, the Lakers, and Sacramento.
Quick question. Why did you have the Pacers schedule just pulled up on your screen?
I have the NBA fantasy forecaster.
Okay.
So-
okay. All right.
We only play 2 games this week, by the way.
Oh, Bobby got the Pelicans. What are you going to
Who
do
the
there?
Pelicans got?
Let me scroll down. What the fuck?
Well, quickly, you know,
there.
quickly.
Boston, Washington, at Miami, at Charlotte.
You know that Washington's a win.
You got to stick with that.
I'm taking them.
All right, Jason, your draw.
Give me this mitt. Did you have to stand up for that?
Yeah, you got it. Don't look in the
Not looking.
basket.
He's the one that looks.
He's so bad at looking. All right, what is it?
Minnesota Timbies.
Ooh.
At Cleveland,
That sounds
San
like a foot
Antonio
matter.
at home, and then Boston.
Ooh.
I'm going to toss that one back.
Oh, this is what he did. Remember he had the Lakers, he threw them back?
Yeah, that was probably a
in trouble.
mistake, by the way.
He's
but
in trouble.
whatever. It'd be hilarious if he chose the.
Cavs.
OKC Blue. Sticking with them
They're
because I
pretty
have
good.
to.
You got the blue. Give me that glove.
Someone mix that up for Brandon there.
I'm sure this will be a good draw. I had the Nuggets 2 weeks ago. They went 0-3.
How do you even track the OKC Blues wins? Do they have a schedule or a map?
Yes.
Undefeated week.
I'm so doomed.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
No.
God, that feels good. My God.
Hey,
That's that new dad look.
by the
I
by
got
the way,
one.
Jason, you're already 1-0.
Come on.
Undefeated week, baby. Got the blue.
Oh my God! Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks to Sisters and Scotch for keeping Jason looking fresh. Finally,
Got that fade.
and for keeping all of us look clean. I need to stop by. I am looking rough.
Yeah.
And,
You're a dad, though. It's fine.
Those tasty beverages they have aren't so bad either. Also, special thanks to Opolis Clothing for having us tonight. Love podcasting here. We're gonna do this once a month. They are our newest official partner, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Shirts are officially on the way. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we have them this week.
Very soon.
So
Check out opolisclothing.com.
that's right. If we owe you a shirt, they'll be coming soon. Also, they really do have awesome shirts, as you can see
So
here. Slow week for the Thunder coming. Just 2 games. Wednesday versus the Cavs. Aftershock is coming to you after that. Reminder that those Aftershocks are moving to Patreon in 2019. Just want to prepare you guys for that. We don't want to spring that on you guys. Friday versus the Hawks at home.